Welcome to the only daily podcast focusing on compliance news of the day. Each morning, start your day with a cup of coffee and Tom Fox, the voice of compliance, to hear about 4 of the top compliance, corruption, or leadership stories you will need to start your day. The Daily Compliance News is a production of the Compliance Podcast Network.
The Daily Compliance News for March 19, 2025, the Why CISOs Quit edition. Our first and lead story comes to us from Security Insights, a first-time contributor to the Daily Compliance News, which reports that 1 in 4 senior cybersecurity leaders are planning to leave the profession, according to an industry survey. The causes include growing responsibility, increasingly severe threats, and ever greater regulatory burdens. CISOs are constantly fighting fires, moving from one crisis to the next. This leads to stress and burnout, and often CISOs are not fully supported by their organizations. As one of the guests for the podcast episode around this said, CISOs suffer from, quote, an invisibility of success, as they are only held accountable for security breaches, not recognized for the attacks they prevent and detect. If CISOs are thinking about quitting, what does that say about the prospects for the wider industry? Next up from the Wall Street Journal, not the Risk and Compliance Journal, but in the U.S. section, an article on how bribery helped a crime ring steal thousands of iPhones from porches. Prosecutors say they stopped a group of porch pirates that were scraping FedEx websites and bribing AT&T staff for delivery dates. This porch thefts obviously are not new, but they're becoming increasingly sophisticated. There was a spree last year captured on doorbell cameras where thieves stole iPhones just moments after they were dropped at front steps. They knew the packages were coming, and they knew what was inside. What's the bribery angle? Well, an AT&T store employee uses employment credentials to track hundreds of shipments that were subsequently reported stolen in transit. He took photos of customers' names and addresses and tracking numbers and shared them with the criminal group. What did he get? $2,000. So, how's that for an investment? Next up from NorthJersey.com, another first-time contributor to the Daily Compliance News, reports that Nadine Arsalanian Mendez, that's Mrs. Bob Mendez, for those not in the know, her federal corruption trial is set to begin, and it is scheduled for multiple days. She has been indicted and charged alongside her husband and 3 New Jersey businessmen. Jury selection begins actually today. And we have a cooperating witness, of course, Jose Uribe, who testified against her husband, Bob Mendez, who was sentenced to 11 years in prison. And the Senator Mendez tried to throw his wife under the bus, saying it was all her. Now, the case has been delayed because of breast cancer treatment, but it looks like it's going forward now. And our final story comes to us from the FT, which reports that a group of top tennis players has accused the game's governing bodies of trapping them in an unfair system, suppressing their earnings, and putting their health at risk. And they have filed a lawsuit to stop all of this. They claim that the organizations run a cartel against them. So cartelism takes to the legal world in the form of lawsuit by pro players. The Daily Compliance News is a production of the Compliance Podcast Network and a proud member of C-Suite Radio. Thanks so much for listening. I hope you'll join me again tomorrow.